Bitcoin crypto news online. I thought we'd talk about the tariffs a little bit. They've certainly thrown a wrench into the wheelworks of most narratives of a positive April up until this point, but there's still some silver lining around the clouds. I would say that I'll just give you a quick synopsis of what's happening and kind of what I think may be going on behind the scenes. And, not financial advice. We're just talking shop. Love to hear your thoughts on it. But, you know, the mainstream media and even some of the conservative media, they're panicking because the stock market's going down. The market is very, very nervous right now. They had a rumor that there was going to be a 90-day pause on the tariffs, and the market started spiking up, and then it was debunked, and the market dove right back down. So the nerves of the market are very jumpy. That's not great. But the charts actually are indicating that we could still be in a positive bull market. There's also indicators that we could be heading into a bear market. So that's unnerving for crypto folks, especially newbies. But Bitcoin is really holding pretty strong. We've held the 70,000 top of the $70,000 range, and that's actually a very good sign. As far as the tariffs go, and I want to go into some of my thoughts of what I think is going on behind the scenes that probably nobody's really talking about actually, to a full extent or as much as what I kind of think some of the motives are. But the tariffs, there is over 70 countries talking with America right now, and several countries have already agreed to a trade-free arrangement, such as Israel and Japan. Japan's a major trading partner with the United States, and also Israel is a huge technology, and also they grow a lot of really good fine foods, expensive foods, avocados, spices, things like this that are kind of high dollar. I think figs and things like that as well. So um, there is some positive news as far as people are actually making deals or they're wanting to make deals. But China, that's the big deal, China. So China is actually selling both their ownership of American stock and of the stocks and bonds. So because they're divesting in that, they're devaluating their money. Well, that means people in China don't have any place to really put their money, so they got to try to put it in either gold or Bitcoin. And I would think that they would try to lean toward Bitcoin, and they could be actually pushing money into Bitcoin, which could really help. Back when China was putting money into Bitcoin, it really helped when they would have their Chinese New Year's and they wouldn't do anything or trade or maybe even pull their money out and wait. It used to affect the Bitcoin market. They had a lot of pull on the Bitcoin market and could affect it. So this could be a positive boost. So I'm seeing some positive things. I think the road with China is going to be a big deal. The EU's actually starting to back off and say that they are going to deal with America. So, yeah, I think Trump is going to be able to say that he's getting what he wants. Also, he's going to have to turn things around. The market being bad, the stock market being bad, is really not good publicity for the conservative agenda. And if conservatives want to win the Senate and the House, where which Trump would want that, because right now everything's just an executive order. As soon as he leaves office, that all goes away. So he wants to see the legislative part of it, the laws and bills be passed so that they're longer lasting. And so he's not going to want everybody to be in turmoil when we come into the election period. So, after the president of the United States is in, about 2 years later, you have a lot of elections for the senators and congressmen. And the conservatives, especially Trump, wants to flip that so that he can get his, his Make America Great plan passed and legislated. So we see some of this going on right now with the cryptocurrency policies that could be coming out in the next few weeks or months. So he wants to see a lot happen in his first 6 months or first year. And I think that has a factor too, where he will say he won no matter what happens and that he got a great deal no matter what happens, but he's got to get people at the table. So right now, China's not wanting to do that. And so we'll see how that works out. Now, here's what I really think is happening. A lot of people, including me, thought that, he's just trying to get the interest rates down. And, he's talking tough, but he'll back down. And I still think he will negotiate down from some of his stances because he needs to get the economy moving at some point. So those countries that don't wheel and deal with him, he'll probably have to make some concessions at some point and move forward, but he'll still call it a win. So what I think is happening is I think his tariffs are not completely about, making them pay 100% what America pays. I think in the deal is, and I'm just putting together what you see as well, not like this is some great epiphany that I've come up with, but he wants those countries to start producing things in the United States. So we know this, especially strategic things like the computer chips and things like that. We see that happening with Taiwan. So, yeah, this type of partnership gets some jobs and factories and money being invested in the country. It's adding up to trillions of dollars. He's already got probably a dozen companies and over $1 trillion in investments that are coming into huge plants and things like that, from automobiles to chips to other businesses coming to America. But you're not going to see clothing manufacturers and knick-knack manufacturers that have such low profit range coming to America to make their product. You're not going to see that. It's going to be he wants to see some concessions being made. He wants some promises and some deals. So I think that's what it is. And then also, especially the strategic things. Anything that's strategic is going to be a big deal. I think he, like right now, if we were to get in a war, that we don't have a lot of steel, we don't have a lot of rare earth minerals, we don't have computer chips, we don't have a lot of medicine. So he's made deals with the pharmaceuticals, get a lot of those companies back in the U.S. And that way, if America was to get in a conflict, we would have the medicine we need, especially if there was some sort of epidemic. And then also, depending solely on China for all these chips and things like that, it's not good because everything almost needs those now. Cars, devices, military equipment relies heavily on those things. So I think it's about getting a lot of things done at once. And it's not just the tariffs, it's the bargaining power, it's the strategic power, it's the jobs, and then also the interest rate. He wants to push the interest rate. Now, I had heard that there was an emergency meeting called by Jerome Powell, who has probably under Biden would have given us an interest rate drop last month and this month as well, but under the Trump administration isn't doing it. Now, this is just my own opinion, but I think Jerome Powell is holding off from his normal course of action because of political reasons. And I think that, he's still duty bound to try to keep us from going into a recession. So if he could get the interest rate lower, this could stimulate business, could stimulate the housing market. A lot of people would like to move right now, but they just can't. For example, my house, the interest rate is so good on my house And if I buy a new house with the increased market and the interest rate, I couldn't afford to buy the same house. I could not afford it. And this is the situation of most people right now. So if the interest rates were to drop quite a bit, then it could cause a little bump in the housing market, and that would help, the economy, because when people move, there's money made. There's, fixes and moving vans and people eating out more. It just creates a lot more money in the economy. You're pulling loaned money, created money out of nowhere and putting it into the economy. So that is something else he would like to do. He's trying to come up with this master plan to make everything happen all at once. And um, it's been pushed more as a tariffs, and we're going to make those countries pay, and it's unfair. But when you talk about all of the Trump agendas, it's really a multifaceted deal that he is shooting for. So, he could tell China, like, hey, you bring in these chips and these, raw materials or something or another, and we'll negotiate on the tariffs. I don't know. That's just what I think is going to happen. So, if China tries to hunker down and not work more with Trump, they will work with him. I think they'll have to, because he knows it's a game now. Who can hurt who? You know, can China hurt us by manipulating their currency, or can we hurt them by slowing down their trade? So that's what we'll have to wait and see. But I think overall, cryptocurrency is still, we're suffering. But I think if we can stay sideways here in the high $70,000 range and not dip down into the low 60s, especially the 50s, will be coming back. Now, for me, I'm a buy and hold guy, so I'm not really worried. I'm in profit. I've been investing in Bitcoin for a long, long time, but I'm still buying the dips. Not every day, but $10 here, $20 here, $50 here, every week or so, even more often, and then I'm still mining. So, anyway, I hope you're doing well. Hang in there. Don't panic, whatever you do. Hopefully you put stop losses in anything that would hurt you financially if it were to go down. Definitely do that if you are hurting because of this. And I mean hurting like, that was money you shouldn't have invested, then definitely act accordingly, because we could get more dips. Um, who knows? It's a guess. So just be wise with your money. But if you have money on the sideline and you want to put it in, altcoins right now are not doing really great. They're like a falling knife. So if you have altcoins like I do, and they're already, they are just surplus, I don't need to worry about buying and selling them. It is more work. I'm just going to hold them and wait for the market to come back, or wait for them to go to zero, or wait for them to go to a million. It don't matter to me. But that's my strategy. That way I don't have to panic day by day. And that's how I do it, just dollar cost average. So have a great day. Goodbye. That's all.